Okay, if you hear panting behind me, it's Ella. Okay, today's question is, I talked about in an earlier vlog, I think it was in the struggle, or one of those tag videos, or at some point, if you look back, there's got to be one video where I talk about why I went natural. The highlights of it were basically, I had longish hair. I had long hair. My hair, for the most part, most of my adult life, I would say since I was probably about 18, was pretty much at my shoulders, and that was about it. It was the same as everybody else. I either wrapped my hair or I made it curly with rollers. Nothing special, nothing exciting. Then my sister moved near a Dominican hair salon, and I started to go to the Dominican hair salon. One, because they were just quicker. Before it got really popular, I could get in and out of the Dominican hair salon in an hour and a half. And if you went early enough, that was even, get there at 8 o'clock when they opened. You were out of there by 9:30, 10 o'clock at the latest. But it was like everything was done. You were washed and styled and ready to go. And so I went. I used to go with my sister on Sunday mornings. And I remember it was one day I walked out, because my hair always looked really nice. That's the one thing about going to a Dominican hair salon. The wash and set, it always looks good. Especially if you have relaxed hair. I just think it always looks fabulous. However, they use really, 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 really high heat. They don't use it for a long time, but they do use really high heat. And I used to go once a week. Well, the first thing that I thought about was when we were walking in one day, and one girl was walking down the street, and I looked at her, and I was like, I walk out looking exactly like her. And I was like, and then I realized every girl that walked out of the Dominican hair salon pretty much had the same hair. You were either really, really bone straight with kind of like, the flip underneath, or you kind of had kind of like this slightly layered, kind of more feathered look to you. But everybody basically had the same hairstyle. And I was like, I don't know. I guess that was my point when I was just kind of like, I want to look like me. And I started to realize that I looked like every other girl that was walking in and out of this salon. So that was the first thing that kind of made me think, okay, maybe I don't want to do this anymore. Maybe I want shorter hair. Maybe I want a different look. Maybe I want to color it. Maybe I want to do something else. Then I started to realize, having gone to the Dominican hair salon probably every week for about, 6-8 months, was that my hair was starting to thin at the ends. And that really ticked me off, because one thing that I always had was very healthy hair. And I knew how to take care of my hair before then. The only time that I went to the hairdresser before I started going to the Dominican hair salon was when I wanted to get my hair cut. Literally, that was it. So I knew how to relax my hair. I even knew how to trim my hair. I knew how to maintain my hair. I had been doing it since I was in junior high or high school. Probably all my life, literally. But I mean, like, relaxing my hair, I got my first relaxer in high school. So from high school to, into my 20s, I had only gone to the hairdresser when I needed, or a really, really special occasion, but most of the time I did it myself, and that was it. And so anyways, I noticed that my ends were thinning, and I realized what it was that it was too much high heat. So then I started to go to the Dominican hair salon less frequently. One, because it started to get popular, of course, because people see everybody walking out with great hair, and so they realize, ooh, where'd you go, blah, blah, blah. And the next thing you know, even if you got there at 8 o'clock, there was a line out the door. And even the best and quickest hairstylists, they couldn't get anything out of there. So now you were basically sitting in there just as long as if you were in, a normal, black hair salon. You were sitting there 3-4 hours, the wait forever. Every dryer was full, every chair was full, they didn't have a lot of sinks. So you had, they tried, but you just couldn't do it. You just could not do it. It wasn't big enough. There weren't enough stylists, and that was the hard part. I think that's where the hardest part was the stylists. There were only like 3 or 4 stylists, and you had easily, every time to open the door, 3 or 4 girls walking in. So they could never keep up. So I was like, okay, I need to do something else. Plus, I want to do something else. And previously, when I had longer hair, you can go longer without a relaxer. And so my usual routine was about every 4 months. Prior to going to the Dominican hair salon, my relaxing schedule was roughly every 3 to 4 months. I would do it no earlier than 8 weeks, probably closer to 12. And my hair did fine because I wasn't always manipulating it. But again, when I went to the Dominican hair salon, they do really straight, and their relaxing schedule is more frequent. So I couldn't, for their type of, the way they were doing it, my hair wouldn't last if I waited that long. So I was relaxing my hair about every 5 to 6 weeks, which was way too frequent for me. And so where I started to notice the breakage was in my temples. And then, of course, my ends were getting very thin, like I said. And so then I stopped going to the Dominican hair salon, and I let my hair just go. In other words, I went back to my schedule. Now, it was a little bit harder because now my hair was damaged. It was definitely damaged from all the heat that they were using. And so everything basically broke off my hair. So I was having just experiences of lots and lots of breakage. And then I just couldn't take it anymore. And I remember I was standing it was January 1st, 2010. And I was standing in the Nordstrom beauty area. And I was standing there, and I was trying to think of all the things I needed to do. And one of them was to go to Sally's to get a relaxer. And I think previously I had decided I wasn't going to do it. I was going to stop relaxing my hair. That I was ready to do something totally drastic and different. But I kind of hemmed and hawed about going natural. It wasn't a decision that I had made concretely. I just kind of thought about it. Like, maybe I should go natural. Maybe I should try to do something else. But it wasn't even try to go natural. It was more like stop relaxing my hair. And I was like, I need to go to Sally's. And then I was like, well, if I go to Sally's, I don't need to get a relaxer. Because I didn't have any relaxer at home. And I was like, I need to go get a relaxer. I said, but then wasn't I going to not relax my hair anymore? And then I'm like, I don't know. And then I was like, I don't know how to do this. So what I decided to do was go to Sally's. And when I went to Sally's, I bought my relaxer. But I had decided that day in Nordstrom, backtrack just a little bit. I know I'm kind of going all over the place. I decided in Nordstrom that this would be my last relaxer. That's it. This is it. My last relaxer. And then I went to Sally's and bought a relaxer, relaxed my hair, and that was it. But when I got home, I started to research relax to natural, I think it was, or grow out your relaxer was probably what I actually Googled. And that was the beginning of my natural hair journey. And it was funny because once I made that decision and I got home, it was like a weight was lifted off of me. Literally, as soon as I said, I am not going to relax my hair anymore, there was a weight lifted off of me. It was weird because I hated relaxers. I hated relaxing my hair. I was one of those people that didn't really like it. I hated the process. I thought it took too long. I thought it was, and I didn't think my hair looked any better. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it was nice and flat, but it felt like, it's like, to me, it's like putting on foundation. You know, like most people, what they do is they put on foundation to cover up all their blemishes and things like that. But then what they don't realize is they also take away the dimension in their face, the natural shadows, the natural things that make their face actually look very attractive. And I always think it's weird when I see women who only wear foundation. They don't wear any lipstick, they don't wear any blush, they don't wear any mascara, they don't wear any eyeshadow, they don't wear anything. And it's like, why? Well, that's how I felt about my hair too, was that I felt like, you know, once I relaxed it, it was kind of like, okay, now what? I will show you my work ID, and you can see what I'm talking about when you see my hair, but the problem is you can't. My ID has all kinds of stuff all over it. But if you knew me and you saw my hair beforehand, it was like, it was so bleh. Everything about me was just bleh. It was regular. It was, my makeup was light, my hair was, you know, and I would show it to you, but it has my work all over it. My name and work all over it. It's like you couldn't miss it if you tried. So anyway, so that's how I discovered, the YouTube community. I discovered what transitioning was versus big chop, and I ultimately decided on transitioning instead of a big chop, because one thing, and I've said this before, is that I do not know how to do short hair. So for me, it was hard thinking that I would just chop off all my hair. I knew it would grow back. I never really had a problem growing length to my hair. However, Ella's listening intently and making noise. That's how I know she's really relaxed, when she starts making noise. In addition to annoying the crap out of me. You should see her face. It's so funny. Anyway. So I decided not to big chop, but to transition. But I knew I was only going to transition for a year. And so I was going to transition from January 1st to December 31st. And on the 1st of January, I was going to cut off my relaxed ends, because I figured I'd have enough hair for that at that point in time. Well, I did. I actually wound up cutting my hair on December 31st. I went to the hair cuttery, and because I wanted to just cut it off, so I didn't really care who cut it off. I didn't need like a special person. I just wanted to cut off. So I remember going in there, and there's all these women in there, and they're all getting relaxers and doing all these things to their hair. And so I show up with this really big hair. It was actually really good. I really liked my transitioning hair. If I had thought about it, I probably would have transitioned even longer. But I kind of felt like I was ready to just play in my natural hair. But I remember the lady, what I told her, I wanted her to cut off my relaxed ends. She was like, "Are you sure?" I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "All of it?" "Yeah, all of it." "And then what are you going to do? You want me to flat iron it?" "No, I want you to cut it off. That's it." "All of it?" "Yeah, all of it." And then I told her, so she cut it all off. And she was like, "Well, don't you want me to do something else to it?" Okay, now everybody in there is looking at me crazy, because they're all trying to make their hair gorgeous, how they felt, which was a relaxed hair. And I was the one person sitting there who was like, chop it all off. And so everybody looked at me like I was crazy, including the lady. And I was undeterred. It was like, "No, lady, just cut off my hair." She's like, "You sure?" She kept trying. She's like, "Well, if you ever want to do something to it." I was like, "No, I'm fine. Just cut it off." And I absolutely loved my hair. Especially, she was trying very hard to make me hate it, though. So what she did was, because my hair, especially my natural hair, had been kind of curly. What she did was she picked it all out. And she was like, "Oh, I took off all your little curls." It was funny. She was trying very hard. I mean, as a hairstylist, you know, that's just, you know, I understand. It's the bane of your existence to have somebody go natural and start doing their own hair, because that's money out of your pocket. And that's what she was trying to do. She was trying to make me feel like this was a really bad decision. I knew it was a great decision. I was so happy. My hair, actually, when she combed it all out, my hair was, I had like this ginormous fro. It was so gorgeous. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I should have taken a picture, but I didn't, and I don't know why. But I loved it. And of course, everybody in the salon, because the salon was packed to the gills of people just getting their hair done. And I'm walking out with my hair looking all what they quote unquote thought was crazy looking. I loved it. I loved it. I felt an even more freedom that I just never felt before. And it was just hair, you know, so it, you know, that's why when I talked about it being a journey, it was a journey. It definitely was a journey, but I feel like for me it was more like a trip. That was the big epiphany, or the big moment, was when I cut it all off and I started from scratch. It's kind of like, I kind of probably equate it to people who cut their locks like that. Like, you take all the history, everything that's attached to it, and you just cut it off, then you start new. And for me, that made me want to, because I didn't have my hair to be as expressive, because I had to learn like everybody else, since, you know, my mother had always been, you know, brushing my hair straight, even when I was natural, because I was natural for a very long time, up until I was in high school. But I always knew how to blow dry my hair, or to, I don't think my mother used to press my hair, and my mother used to take me to the hairdresser. I used to go to the hairdresser to get my hair pressed. Or it was braided up. So I don't actually know what my hair looked like most people. I had no clue what my hair looked like. And I felt like, okay, now I gotta figure out what to do. But I felt like there was a certain amount of freedom in that. And I had to learn how to do my hair. However, because my hair was not the focal point anymore, because when you have long hair, especially as a black girl with nice long hair, that's all people pay attention to. When you don't have any hair, people start, they're not really, they kind of look at you crazy, like, what did you do to yourself? You know, did you have some kind of crazy thing happen to you or something like that? You know, they kind of look at you crazy, like you did something crazy. But I actually felt like that was the best thing I ever did. I really do. I genuinely feel like that was the best thing I ever did.